Just when you thought we were done with Battle Royales, a new game comes out of nowhere and surprises you with satisfying gameplay, new ideas, and a base concept that might just be crazy enough to work. My name is Kodiak, this is Legacy Gaming, and today we're diving into Supervive, a new free-to-play MOBA meets Battle Royale, and sharing our thoughts on the game. For the past few days, Livid and myself have been queuing up to check out Supervive, a game we got a taste of during the recent Steam Next Fest. If you watched our video covering that event, you'll know we had high hopes for the game, and the reason is pretty simple. It's damn fun to play. Supervive takes a lot of ideas from other games and genres, extracts the best ones, and puts them together in a package that is altogether incredibly polished, even during its current open beta period. Currently, there are a few different game modes, just as you'd expect from a Battle Royale. Livid and I stuck primarily to duos, being the dynamic duo that we are and all, but you can branch out into squads and even an arena mode, which is faster pace. You then enter a hero draft, where you and your teammates pick from your available pool of vibrant characters. I'll admit, there are a decent number of options available already, but you can just tell the team is going to expand this 2 or 3 times over before the game officially launches. Some categories are loaded with more than a handful of characters, while others only have 1 or 2 options. That being said, there are some really cool hero options here, and all of them are viable in the right hands. As with any hero-based game, these characters define the gameplay experience. If they're not fun to use, then all of the other bells and whistles really don't matter. I'm not gonna lie and say every hero is bursting with innovation, that's simply not true. But like I said in the intro, they take a lot of fun parts from other games and their characters and blend them to create Supervive heroes. Across the board, you can see a lot of parallels to characters in Overwatch and League of Legends, and while that's not bad, it does take away a bit from the game's overall uniqueness. Still, heroes are incredibly responsive and each has a moveset that just feels right, and the more you play a specific hero, the more you start to pick up on their individual nuance. Once you've got your hero locked in, you'll drop into the game map, just like a typical BR. You'll pick a point along a forecasted trajectory, and you and your teammates will plummet to the ground as the round begins. One unique aspect of the game is that each round features a random affix. These will change one thing about the match for each team involved, and while some impacts are minor, others can drastically change your approach to a round. For example, one affix gives you unlimited glider fuel, which means you can drift endlessly without worrying about falling off an edge. It's little tweaks to the BR formula like that which I really appreciate, and while it's not nearly enough to sell us on the game, it's small improvements or new ideas that help make Supervive feel unique. Once you touch down, the round starts, and if you've played any other PvEVP style game, you might be familiar with some of the early aspects. What you choose to do and in what order are entirely up to you, but spread across the map are packs of lesser enemies that provide you with the necessary experience and basic items needed to be more competitive during the later team fights. These enemies level up alongside your progression as part of the game's mid-round day-night cycle, making them relevant throughout an entire round. Throughout the map are also vaults, which you can hack via a small timing-based minigame for access to a handful of items and armor inside. These are often hotbeds of action right off the jump, with multiple teams usually dropping right at the door. This can be rewarding if you're skilled with your character, but more often than not, it's a bit of a mess. That being said, vaults are incredibly valuable and almost always worth seeking out. Throughout the world are also base camps and respawn beacons, and I lump them together because they really provide the foundation for staying in the round between the action. Base camps can be captured, and once you do, they create a zone that gives you some expanded vision in that area, as well as access to craft healing potions and repair your armor. Armor is incredibly important in Supervive. There are different rarities that give you different levels of protection, and you'll actively work to maintain that armor by finding repair items or swapping out sets entirely. Battles can often be won or lost based on how well you manage to upgrade and maintain that armor. Respawn beacons are exactly what they sound like, allowing you to revive your teammate by standing in them for a period of time. I truly love that this is in the game, but I also love how the team balances the system. When a player is using a beacon, it sounds an alarm and alerts players in the area that someone is using a respawn beacon. The warning isn't obvious enough that every player will come swarming, but it's also creating a real danger whenever a player is using it. The benefit is, of course, that you can revive your teammate, which I find to be one of the best aspects of this game. When playing as a team, there's always a chance for a comeback if you manage to escape after a scrap. In most BRs, when a teammate is killed, you're left to fight alone, but Supervive solves for that, and I think it's fantastic. The only real point of criticism here is that players can continue to use the respawn beacon even if they're being attacked, so long as they stand on the hardpoint that revive timer continues to count down, which we think should stop if a player is being attacked. Small grievances aside, these are some of the major things you can do during a round, but it's the natural flow from one objective to the next that keeps the game moving forward. At all times, you have something to do, whether that be level up, collect items, or upgrade your weapons and armor, and it's the latter two that really tie the entire Supervive experience together. See, every hero has the ability to slot 2 unique items. These are split between cooldown-based abilities that augment your kit, or passive enhancements that make you even more versatile. These can be truly wacky, almost gimmicky to some extent, but the range of items is really impressive, allowing you to build more offensive or defensive based on your playstyle and team comp. Offensive items come in all shapes and sizes, from throwing axes to full-blown missiles that you can send out, providing you that extra offense you might need in a team fight. Defensive items are a bit more utility-based, either providing you some way to hide or escape, or simply making you more durable in tough situations. There are dozens of options, and this is an area of the game we see the team refining and expanding throughout the open beta. Additionally, there are consumables, which are a bit more limited in what they offer, but still valuable. These items can heal or enhance your basic stats for a limited period of time, but there are also more practical items like shield walls that give you some quick cover when it's needed the most. Finally, there are your weapons and other gear. As you kill enemies, you'll gain fragments, which will eventually allow you to upgrade the tier of said gear, seen here in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Along the way, you'll also be able to make some key choices, shuffling the stats of the items based on that choice, allowing you to push your character build in a specific direction. The higher the rarity, the stronger the item, and that provides yet another layer on top of everything we've already discussed. So you see, the game is pretty layered, and I'll admit the item situation is what I initially found to be the most overwhelming about the game. Those vaults I mentioned before often have 5 or 6 items inside, and as a new player, it's almost impossible to know what you need as you're still trying to figure out the rest of the game. I'll also say that the way the information is presented is a bit challenging. Not only do you have items all over the map, but you also have panels all along the bottom of your screen that you need to hover over, and as you're doing that, your camera is whipping around like crazy. Needless to say, it's a bit much if you're going in cold, but here's what I'll say. One thing Supervive did that is incredibly smart is give players a fully functional training area where they can practice on any hero, unlocked or not, instantly increase them to max level, and gives them access to every item in the game. In my opinion, this smooths out all of those rough edges because now you literally have no excuse. You can test every hero, item, and even use them in realistic combat scenarios. It's a brilliant addition to the game, and kudos to the team for doing this as part of the open beta, not some post-launch patch, because this could be the most important aspect of the game. Like most battle royales, where Supervive is at its absolute best is when the intensity ratchets up and you're engaging in team fights. I can't speak to every game mode, but man, a good duos duel, especially against 2 good teams, can be some of the most fun you'll have in a competitive game. It's a bold statement, I know, but it's true. Unlike a first-person shooter, a duel in Supervive is more like a dance with both teams jockeying for position. Knowing your enemy's kit is almost as important as knowing your own, and trying to find the right time to engage or disengage is pivotal within those small windows of high-intensity action. When it goes right, it's cathartic, and on many occasions, Livid and I would let out an audible, "Let's go!" whenever we downed a team, but that success balances on a knife's edge. One small mistake, one slight overcommitment, and a good team will pounce. Because of some of the game's other systems, like the glider and the respawn beacon, there's always a chance you can recover from a mistake, but that's not a guarantee. In fact, the glider, while an incredible tool for navigating and escaping, can also be your downfall. During a team fight, if you get hit while on your glider, you'll shoot straight down. If you're over a ravine, then forget it, you instantly die. It's a risk versus reward tool that feels well balanced given how intense team fights can be. That being said, just having the ability to recover like that mid-match gives each round a little more longevity, which I think makes the game as a whole have a bit more longevity overall. Duels can easily spiral out of control, with teams often third-partying because it's pretty easy to hear where teams are fighting nearby. and Livid and I both agree that when all of that happens, the effects flying across the screen, the action itself can get a bit muddy. The animations and colors are so spectacular and vibrant that your hero can often get lost in the shuffle, and when that results in a death, it's a bit frustrating. However, that's something everyone has to deal with, so at least it's a level playing field. Once a round is over, you'll gain experience that feeds your season progression as well as your hero's individual progression. Nothing here is cause for alarm, as both of these systems just feed various cosmetic unlocks, which at this point I am completely numb to. I do like that as you play a hero, you can unlock specific themed cosmetics for that hero, giving you a little something for your commitment to playing that character long term. But overall, the game does have to monetize some way, and they're doing that primarily through paid supporter packs, which do unlock heroes but give you access to a ton of cosmetics as well. You can unlock every hero just by playing the game as part of the seasonal progression, but I can understand some people thinking that buying all of them outright is a bit cheap. Personally, I just don't care all that much. For a free-to-play game that's just entering into open beta, Supervive is absolutely punching above its weight class and doing a lot of things right. The concept of the game is rock solid, but more importantly, the gameplay experience itself is a ton of fun. At this point, Supervive just needs to keep going, deploying new content on a regular basis because the momentum is there. As more people discover the game, I think the developers have a really great shot at breaking into this space, and if you continue to upgrade and offer new heroes and specifically change up the formula on a regular basis, I'm pretty confident saying that Supervive might be around for a while. Friends, let us know what you think of the game, drop us a comment down below, and as always, if you appreciate the work that goes into making these videos, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, and consider subscribing. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.